teams desperate for points, both having not won since mid-March. Square off today in Kentucky. It's Lexington Sporting Club against the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Alongside Eric Dobransky, Michael Watring with you here this evening in Lexington. It's great to have you with us. When you look at the table for these two sides, and let's start with Lexington, Eric, you look at this group, they're at the bottom of the table, but things are so tightly contested that a couple good weeks and boom, they're right back into the middle of the pack.
Limited space between teams, Michael, which puts points at a premium, and week to week, you just mentioned it, you could redefine where you sit. So for Lexington, have to feel like they're putting together some sturdy performances, but now they have to translate that to 3 points.
Tampa Bay on the other side, they sit at the bottom of the Eastern Conference table. Now a little bit more gap between them and the playoff line, but this team is extremely talented and they certainly have a run in them.
Yeah, two conferences that are shaping up very differently. There are teams in the East that are beginning to separate themselves, and for the Rowdies, it's going to be about not getting left behind. You don't want to put yourself where your playoff push begins mid-season, and now every game is such a tense matchup and something that you got to pick up and start picking up the tempo.
Lexington recalled a player that Coach Terry Boss said is one of the most talented that he's ever coached. Alfredo Medense led League One last year with 8 assists.
Possesses all the qualities and characteristics of a top-class midfielder. High footballing acumen, can unlock areas with the way he manipulates space and time on the ball. Then it's his recognition of his two-way role, helping Lexington win that battle of territory.
Tampa Bay has not won a match in the last 64 days. The last time they did it, they actually gave up a goal in the second minute and came back to win.
And it's been their struggle to find sustainability in both boxes, among the lowest in the league in goals scored, although they've created chances, so they need to sharpen that final action. And then collectively have not earned a clean sheet this season. Only one of 5 teams thus far in the USL Championship. That unpredictability in both thirds has provided some instability in results.
Denny Cristostomo scored in first half stoppage time. The second goal after Precious tied it up at the half-hour mark, and Tampa Bay won. That was back on March 22nd. They've only scored 8 goals this season. Half of those are from this man, Wubens Pasillas.
Pasillas, clinical and efficient in and around goal, but tonight it's going to be the combination of the ability and willingness to stretch the pitch offensively. It allows them to influence in a variety of ways. Could also provide that space for Arteaga in that pocket in front of that back line to play make, but defensively it also unbalances teams and opponents, that ability to connect and create tempo.
It's been longer than 2 months where either of these teams last won a USL Championship match. 6-match winless string for Tampa, 10 for Lexington. Who breaks up their run here tonight? Starting 11, and the kickoff is next.
I shouldn't be here. That's what the first 3 doctors said. That even if I made it to remission, I'd probably never climb again. But I did. Because I wanted a different answer, and I found it at UK Healthcare. They took a drug nobody else had yet, 12 rounds of chemo, and a 16-person team. But here I am, right where I was never supposed to be.
Who is Lexington Sporting Club? We are the professional soccer team in the heart of the Bluegrass. From our Youth Academy to the Women's Super League to the Men's USL Championship team, we're building the future. From every corner of Lexington, we are united under one crest. This is your team. This is your community. Together, we are creating our story, leaving our mark. This isn't just any club. It's a club to call your own. Get your tickets today at lexsporting.com/tickets.
Success isn't a game of chance. It's about making the right moves. Just like Lexington Sporting Club, Commonwealth Credit Union aims to win by helping you defend your goals and keeping your money on the attack. As the official credit union of Lexington Sporting Club, we're empowering success on the field and in your finances with smarter banking options and unbeatable service. Are you ready to take the lead? Then get the home field advantage for your finances, only with Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
We live with you, build with you, grow up with you, and dream with you. At Central Bank, we belong to the same communities you do. You're our neighbors, friends, and business partners. And through the relationships we build with you every day, we consistently serve you better. That's what highly personal banking is all about. We start with you.
Lexington's starting formation is a 4-2-3-1 here tonight as they try to find a little bit more consistency in the attack.
We'll start in the engine room. We mentioned Medense in the open. Then you include Firmino and Jafal. Their ability to set the temperature of this match, both on and off the ball. Then in the final third, Ajogo, his dynamic presence, can it help spark this Lexington attack?
Conversely for Tampa Bay, while they also are looking to score, they make a change in goal. Ethan Bandray gets the start, the 26-year-old from Kansas.
Changes for a team that is starving for a result, a change in goal, but it's going to be about details and winning matchups in each third. Castellanos steps in for a suspended Lawrence Wyke. Can this backline help guide the group to a comprehensive performance? Then you always need to take into account Leo Fernandez. Does a great job of finding his way into matches. He'll look to increase his influence tonight.
Bandray makes his debut as a starter tonight for Tampa Bay, and we are just about ready to roll. This is the first road trip for Tampa Bay since mid-April in the U.S. Open Cup, while Lexington back at home. They are looking for a home victory here on this field. They don the black kits tonight. It is the white, yellow, and greens for Tampa Bay Rowdies. Two teams desperately seeking points, desperately seeking answers as we close in on the summer months in the USL Championship. Our official is Matthew Corrigan here this evening. This is his 5th game with the whistle in the USL Championship this year. Danny Crisostomo stands over it, puts the ball in play, the candle is lit, and we start this matchup. Lexington Sporting Club and Tampa Bay Rowdies here tonight. Michael Watrang, Eric Dobransky, and the rest of our team with you here this evening. Hope you can come in and stay a while with us to watch these two sides play this evening in Kentucky. Well, Eric, you speak with Terry Boss, and he mentioned about this group. There is certainly a little bit of impatience right now within this side. They want to play better. They want to find answers, but they also understand that there is still a long part of this year to go. That pass intercepted. Castellanos against Firmino. Clears it out to midfield.
And they know and recognize that it is a long season. There are still a lot of results out there to go pick up. But when you have a new group, that cohesiveness, that ability to blend ideas, and not only ideas, but execution, that's easier said than done when you look at their roster and their depth and the ability of some of their experience and their newcomers. I mean, this is a team that is still growing, still developing those relationships. And the 1 win, but 4 draws. So they have 5 results out of their first 10 matches. That is something that is a bit reminiscent of Rhode Island last year. And in no way am I trying to say that they're both the same teams. But we saw Rhode Island kind of stumble out of the gate. In their first 10 games, they had only 1 win. They had 3 losses and 6 draws. Now, obviously, they had pushed some of those losses into gaining a point. But they had 9 points through 10, 10 goals for, and 16 against. Lexington, 9 goals for, 17 goals against in the first 10 games. So there's still that gelling and that identity is clear, but now it's about what does it look like in both boxes.
And you mentioned the fact that this is a very new team. Only 3 players returned from last year's group. This is the first season in the USL Championship. And here comes Lexington charging forward, but a nice defensive play knocks that ball away. It trickles out, and we have our first corner kick of the match. Corner kicks tonight, presented by Commonwealth Credit Union.
And this was an area that Terry Boss had brought up in regards to highlighting the way that they were playing in the attack, the ability to gain corners and their touches in opposition box.
Ball played short. From the training ground they go. Curled in. The header just does skim one man, but the defense alertly there to stymie it, and Ethan Bandray picks it up. There is Forster Ajago, a man that's been well-traveled. Nashville, Real Salt Lake, and MLS Next Pro each of the last 2 years, and now tries to find some time consistently at the top of this Lexington lineup.
And what you see from both these sides with Pasillas for the Tampa Bay Rowdies and Ajogo for Lexington, it's that ability to blend playing through the thirds, but also that threat of verticality, that threat of that longer range pass that can unlock some space and keeps teams having to be honest, and that structure to unbalance and destabilize what they're doing defensively. That's what those two players present, and the questions that they can ask early and often.
It's a Lexington side that have only scored once in their last 6. That was against Loudon on May 10th. Marcus Epps scored the opener, and then they proceeded to go up 5 unanswered after that point. Trying to change that script here tonight. A team that sits at the bottom of the Western Conference table, and their schedule won't get any easier. We'll talk about that as we go throughout this evening, but it's a Tampa Bay side that have played at home so frequently. This is their first USL game on the road since April 5th.
But their lone win coming on the road, so maybe a welcome sight for Steve Coleman and this group.
Yeah, they're one of the 3 teams in the league without a home win so far this year. 4 losses, 1 draw at home. You know, Steve Coleman will not be happy about that. Trying to rebound, though, here on the road against Lexington. Tampa Bay take possession now. Lexington aggressive, a shove, a takeover. Ajago thought about going all the way wide. Instead, loops it for Firmino. Sargent. Eddie Dokun. Back out for Sargent. Doesn't like what he sees. Tries to reformat, and it trickles out. Sargent goes on the run. Gets bumped off the ball. Trying to catch him sleeping that time around was Lexington. Epps took the throw fast. He gets taken away, and they respond with another takeaway. Sargent, cheeky little pass, doesn't reach its target. Lexington playing on the front foot in the first 6 minutes.
When you talk to coaches, and especially from teams that are sputtering out in the offensive third and maybe not scoring as many goals as they'd like to see, you do recognize obviously the space that you lack in the final third, but sometimes it's that continuity and that sustainability of when you do regain possession, because as you mentioned, Lexington playing on the front foot right now with where they're managing territory, where they're regaining possession, but now continuing to define what they look like and how they execute when that ball is retained. When do they win possession? Where do they win it? Who's available? How can you go vertical or forward in that moment? Because the most difficult thing to do is start to complement not only winning possession, but being able to go forward with it. When teams can, yes, concede possession, but make the opponent go backwards or sideways, you've really nullified what a team can do to you and how they can harm you. So that's where Lexington's going to want to continue to evolve, not only in the final third and in the fluidity in their attack where their space limited, but also when they regain possession in that higher territory.
Let's see if they can do it here. They cannot as they give it away. This ball ends up out. LSC fans, visit lexsporting.com to get your latest Lexington SC news, merchandise, and discounted ticket offers. That's lexsporting.com. It's a nice night here in Lexington, Kentucky, to watch this matchup, and the shade on the one side of the park. Well, fast starts have not been an issue for Lexington this year. They've scored in the first 17 minutes 4 times. They've only given up 1 goal in the opening 20. So they've been good at the outset, and that very much feels like something similar happening in this one. Granted, no shot attempts through the first 7.5.
It's always fascinating how those storylines start to kind of find themselves into the themes, the trends, the patterns of how team seasons kind of unfold, because, you know, coaches will always talk highly of the starts or how they come out of the half, but they also continue to highlight that it's about a complete 90-minute performance, and you have to start blending and playing that comprehensive style of football.
Rowdies push. Looking for their first service inside of the penalty area. Chrysostamo. Tampa will work it around. Castellanos. Fernandez picks his spot, but it ends up on the back line of Lexington, and a chance now for the home side to break. High arcing ball all the way across the park. Adidokun, where does he want to go? Adiotun stumbles, takes the shot. It's saved off of the line. That is a timely decision by the back line to get there and deny Adidokun.
And the relentless running of Forrest Lasso, the ability to get in behind Bandre, help his team and help his goalkeeper, keep this game at 0-0. What a ball over the top here. And the ability to isolate yourself 1v1, and the patience here, kind of stumbles upon it, gets a good look at goal and beats Bandre, but Forrest Lasso has that awareness.
There's a reason why Lasso has been the 3-time USL Championship Defender of the Year. Moments like that to keep this scoreless. Epps slingshots this ball. Lasso once again there. Firmino knocks it into the sky. Firmino takes a bump, gives away possession. Tampa come out of there. Pasillas wants it. Chases after this. Pasillas getting bumped by Kendall Burks. Pasillas asks for a deflection and will get it. And the Rowdies have a corner 10 minutes in.
That's limited damage done in a nightmarish situation where you have a 1v1 with Pasillas. Very well done by Burks. Close it down and concede a corner, but you concede it in a fashion where you can get all your numbers behind the ball, reset. That was a transition moment that becomes a bit frightening if you're Lexington.
Ollie Bassett heads over there to take this corner. He debates his choices in the mixer. Bassett curls it, but only makes it 2 Epps. Second go at it, again miss hit. Unable to make it past that line of defense. And rolls back just beyond the 10-minute mark. We're scoreless here between Lexington and Tampa Bay. Two teams that have not won matches since March. Looking to get back on the winning track here tonight. Michael Watrang, Eric Dobransky, and team with you here in Lexington, Kentucky. Thanks for joining us.
I think for the Rowdies, it's about getting Arteaga off and running. I mean, no goals on the season, leads the team in shots, and then 6 shots on goal. Whereas in Pasillas, the efficiency, 4 goals on 5 shots on target. Arteaga, Forrest Lasso, Guillen, Leo Fernandez. I mean, you go down the list of the experience within this roster to navigate challenging times of the season like this. It's going to be players like that they lean on. There is still a ton to play for the Tampa Bay Rowdies.
Here is Fernandez, Pasillas, and Arteaga after a career high 18 goals last year with the Rowdies. None so far this year, as you mentioned. He draws the foul. Closing in on 50 for his career, a man that has been a double-digit goal scorer in 3 of the last 4 years. And if Tampa Bay are to make a surge, he is certainly going to be one of the big reasons why.
See what the Tampa Bay Rowdies elect to do here. You get that left foot of Leo Fernandez. You get Ollie Bassett, as you see Ollie Bassett walking away. So it will be Fernandez on it.
Fernandez, 33-year-old from Brazil. You see just one man in the wall. Fernandez loops this ball around, but it flies right into the paws of Ketterer, 31-year-old keeper. Both of these teams have given up those 17 goals that you mentioned so far this season. Ketterer has 3 clean sheets, so there is that ability within this Lexington defense to do so.
Yeah, really affected by some of the Louder results. Obviously, the most recent, that 5-1 against Loudoun United.
Dokun gets the return pass, stumbles, however. Firmino. Dokun all the way across. Lexington retreat. The home side have both shot attempts so far in this game. Both have been on target. Both times Bandre has had no issues. On the right-hand side. To the middle. Of course, one of the shots for Lexington so far, that saved by Lasso. Off of the line, he was in the right place to deny Eddie Dokun. Firmino recycles. Sargent lets it roll for Eddie Dokun. Epps times his run well. Draws 2 defenders, however, and gives it away. Fernandez rescues just before it went out. Asks for a foul, will not get it. Eddie Dokun is in. Ajago. Epps unable to roll it past Bassett. And now here's Pasillas. Pasillas does well not only to hold that ball up, but get it across midfield. Burke slides it out. Rubens Pasillas, 23 from Canada. A strong, quick attacker for this side, and a big reason why. There is some optimism with his 4 goals so far this year.
And for the Rowdies, as they continue to build into this match, can they start creating those opportunities where Pasillas is on the ball, faced up, going at their defender just farther down the field in the final third, in those areas where they've got good collective numbers in and around the ball. The ability to not only play make with his technical ability and his dynamic ability to push past defenders, but also the space that he creates for others.
Tampa patient in the attack. Pasillas tries to hold this up, is able to do so. Unable to get the return feed, comes back out. There's space on this side. Arteaga takes it. Has his shot blocked. Pasillas has it ricochet off of his right arm, and he gets called for that infraction. It looked good. Fernandez was wide open, and Arteaga just took it.
And sometimes when you're looking to get going, you find yourself occasionally forcing things. You're forcing an opportunity that if you play it to the right, now obviously Leo Fernandez, I don't know if he had kept himself onside with the early run. And Arteaga just looking for any sort of spark offensively. Has all the capabilities and skill sets.
Tampa have gotten more comfortable after being forced to defend in the first 10 minutes of this game. So much more of the possession now. Lasso aids it to the left. Direct pass this time. Pasillas was not making that run. It splashes down and rolls back to Bandre. Cheers to local beer. West 6 Brewing is proud to be the official craft beer of Lexington Sporting Club. Find their locally crafted beers all around the state of Kentucky, from the flagship West 6th IPA to 6er Light Lager. There's something for everyone. Head to west6th.com to visit one of their dynamic tap rooms and learn more about Stadium Ale, the official craft beer of Lexington SC. Eddie Dokun tracks this ball down, keeps it in play, slingshots it all the way across, headed back. Medense unable to slow it down enough.
And so far, even with that faster start that Lexington had, Medense not really on the ball in some of those dangerous moments. So well done from the Rowdies right now to screen passes, deny entries.
Well, there's a foul. And Tampa Bay unhappy with that. Ollie Bassett appealing that there shouldn't have been anything there. Instead, it does set up Lexington with a pretty good look here.
We see Lexington playing through that tighter space and Ollie Bassett coming in, collecting the foul. And these are the moments that the Tampa Bay Rowdies are going to be keen to deal with. Their ability to minimize the danger, win their individual duel. And most importantly, make first contact.
Sofian Jeffel, the one that takes it. Back post ball. Ajago heads it across, and it rolls out. It was a really good ball into an excellent space, but the header wide.
They put in an area where you need to put that ball back across the face of the 6-yard box, and when you're that far past that far post, it's no longer your take. You've got to set it up, and able to get himself in a position where he could do so.
We've played 20 minutes so far, and two teams that have only won one game apiece so far this season, but are eyeing this match as an opportunity to catapult themselves up the table. Lexington 0, Tampa Bay 0. Michael Watring, Eric Dobransky, and the crew with you, riding the ship through the night. Hope you can tag along with us. Arteaga. Fernandez takes over. He has some space now, too. 1v1. Fernandez dashes to his left. Eventually, the third defender comes back for reinforcements. Epps punches at it. Ajago wanted it. Now sliding, Crisostomo wins it back for Fernandez. Arteaga taps. Pasillas tugs. And Hafferty steps in front and allows his keeper Ketterer to get there in time.
And right now we're seeing two different profiles from two teams. For Lexington, Terry Boss had mentioned it this week, was they want to play with that aggressiveness. They don't want to let this start to the season influence their identity and the way they play. So as long as they're being aggressive and they keep stacking performances, that will lead into the overall results. And for the Tampa Bay Rowdies, you could see a bit of caution sprinkled into their play. When they hit the final third, it is not as explosive as you typically see from some of the players from Arteaga, Fernandez.
Sargent loops this around. Ajago again charges at it. Firmino blasts this ball, rising over the top and out.
And case in point, there's the aggressiveness from Lexington. Their midfield, the ability to not only work in their own defensive box, but the ability to climb the field and involve themselves in a loud opportunity like that. Second ball comes down, that second wave is always one of the most dangerous waves for defending to deal with. Just because you're unbalanced, you don't have the ability to step to right away. Firmino putting himself in a class position.
How about that header from Pasillas to win? Now he tries to win the race around, but it's excellent defending and drawing the foul against Pasillas. Tip of the cap there to Joe Hafferty.
And right now, I think Lexington will be slightly concerned with some of the 1v1 matchups that Pasillas is encountering. But to the point you just made, I mean, they are making some intelligent plays defensively. They are cutting off the appropriate amount of space. They are defending 1v1 very well. They're not allowing him to get in behind.
Well, the good news for Lexington, they have more shots already this week than they did last week. The bad news is last week they had 2, the fewest of any team so far this season, tied with Hartford in the championship this year. 3 shots already, but they give it away here in the middle of the park. Arteaga twirls. His pass does link up. Arteaga gets to the touchline, crosses it. Pasillas would have been the only target. Sargent sweeps it away. And Lexington reset. Tampa Bay look the part. They have the pieces, just haven't been able to find the right match of ingredients in the attack.
Yeah, and that brings me back to that cautious approach, almost to navigate and manage this first half. Make sure it's 0-0, make sure that they're still in the game. And if you pick out a moment where you can go forward and create, go do it. But you're seeing it in some of the ability or the inability to flood the box when the ball does get wide in that final third or central in that final third. There's still only 2 to 3 players in the attack. You're just not seeing that full-on commitment to send the numbers, possibly because you don't want to give up a counter-attacking opportunity. You don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're having to come from behind. And now, as this game wears on, you can start to grow into it offensively. You can start sending more numbers. You can start risking a bit more.
Sargent passes that out. We'll put things in context. Lexington's lone win was the season opener 78 days ago, 2-0 against Hartford. Tampa Bay's last win, you have to go back to March 22nd, 2-1 win at Miami. 2 teams that combined have led for 243 minutes for the year. So they have not been front runners whatsoever. And despite being almost on the same plane in terms of when you look at it on the map, Lexington in the Western Conference, Tampa Bay in the Eastern Conference. And we mentioned it at the outset, Western Conference seems more attainable right now, but certainly in the East, while the top 5 teams are incredible, there's still a lot of space there, and a result or 2 to go your way over the next month, and you could certainly be right back in the position to make the postseason.
Well, and that goes back to the start for Lexington that has some concern. Obviously, Terry Boss and his group are fully confident in what they're capable of. But you know that come mid-season and when you start to kind of see through the rest of the season, the travel gets heavy when you're in the Western Conference, and the points are close and it's tight right now, but that also just showcases how deep the West is as well. So you're going to have to go on the road. You're going to have to get results at Monterey Bay, who have been terrific this season, who play later tonight. You got to get points against Colorado. I mean, there are teams that are still below the playoff line. Orange County is below the playoff line right now. You're going to have to get results against these teams. So that's why a sluggish start kind of alarms people, because you're going to have to get yourself out. Now, the draws put yourself in a situation where you've picked up 4 points, and those are valuable when it comes down to it. Whereas in Tampa Bay, they just have not been able to even convert some of these losses to draws. Only the 4 points on the season, the 1 win, the 1 draw. I know Forrest Lasso made comments this week about how do you build into the season and individually winning those matchups, winning your role, and then that'll trickle into the unit, and then collectively winning those as well.
Fango throws it through the middle. A twirl, a spin. Medense draws 4 different defenders, and eventually it's taken away from him. Well, to your point, I'm looking at the schedule right now. You have Jaeger Cup match June 28th at Richmond. Then you go to Phoenix, then back to Miami. I don't know which is more uncomfortable that time of the year. Then you go back to Sacramento. You get a home game. Awesome. It's Lou City.
Yep.
And then you have to go back on the road to Colorado Springs. So it is a very unfriendly window of time, and that's why coaches, you think about things and you want to try to get points when you're playing at home. You want to try to get points when you're playing those friendly matches. Now, granted, if they come out of that stretch with a win or 2, a couple draws, and they, maximize their opportunities, That could be a huge win and a huge reason why they make the surge at the second half of the year. But with how things are shaking out over the next couple weeks, you have to take advantage of the chances that you have when you play on this field.
Yeah, and Miami FC is not the Miami FC of last year. They are a problem and not an easy opponent right now. So on the road after a tough game at Phoenix, I mean, and Phoenix is starting to really put together some performances as well. They had a sluggish start to open the season, but my goodness, they have put themselves together and had a terrific 2-0 win against Monterey Bay last week.
And looking at this match, 3-1 in favor of Lexington. Tampa Bay have more possession, but just haven't been able to do anything with it in the attacking third. Will that change on this sequence? Along the left-hand side, Arteaga pulls out. Give and go. Bassett looks for space, whistles one off of the defender. Lexington recover. Casillas comes back to rescue, but commits the foul. Fans visit lexsporting.com to shop all the Lexington SC team store, your one-stop destination for all the latest LSC gear and official merchandise. Purchase kits, scarves, hats, and more to show off your club pride. That's lexsporting.com.
And you saw it just there with the Rowdies when they have that sustained possession, that ability to build through the thirds. They were able to collectively get in and around the box in the final third, because the way that affects it is it's not only the first ball that you can play, but it's that second and third.
That's a delightful pass. Epps over for the finish from Ajago. That was a delightful ball over the top. Epps, Ajago, and a 1-0 edge for Lexington.
Just absolute class in every phase of this goal. Regain possession. I mentioned it earlier, that ability to play positive. Not only do you play positive, but you recognize the most dangerous space to play into. Such a crafty clipped ball in over the top. And then the awareness and the composure to tuck this away. That is that quick strike ability that we know and have been waiting to see from this Lexington side. And Terry Boss and his coaching staff have to be utterly pleased with what they've seen from their team thus far.
First goal of the season for Ajago. A man that scored 7 times with Huntsville a year ago, has an MLS goal to his name this year with Real Salt Lake. And he opens his account in this one for Lexington to get the goal. And it's a player that we talked about with Terry Boss. He said, when I look at Ajago, he has a lot to offer the group. Expecting him to be great at the beginning of the year. Had that red card that forced him to sit out a time, but he's back at it. And in his return from the red card, he scores and gives Lexington the advantage.
It's always so fascinating to see attacking players grow into rhythm and grow into form, because you need reps. You need to be playing the game, but you also need to be executing and be efficient in the moments that you are in matches and the moments that you do have some chances. So how do you complement the two? How do you enhance each other? How do you make sure that you're putting yourself in a position where you're playing significant minutes and you're playing meaningful time, but you're also showing the team and the coaches that you deserve that time and minutes, and that's a big way.
Firmino, Ajago. Bandre knocks it down, but he's offside. Is Ajago that time, but yet again, he's playing off the hips of the central defenders, and he's finding some space.
It's just that multifaceted nature that Ajago plays with, that ability to not only play in front of a back line, but create space in behind. Again, that awareness to know the run of Epps and to continue assertive play, rewards himself with that opening goal.
Across the field, fourth time this year that Lexington have scored the opener. They've lost 2 of the 3, however. Eddie Dokun, Epps was the target. Sargent watches it go over his head and out.
And still plenty of match to be played, but to the point you just made, this is where those trends and themes start to present themselves. How do you play with a 1-goal lead? How do you play after scoring first?
Ajago races onto it. Epps debates, fillets it through the middle, and that'll be a foul. Just couldn't quite get it over in time. Was asking for his teammate to get over there. Instead, it's going to end up being a yellow card here as well for Jacob Green. First booking of the night.
Oh, how connecting for a goal sparks a relationship. We've already seen it now. Right off the goal, Epps and Ajago now combining, finding themselves, finding each other. Tough yellow card to pick up for Jacob Green in the attacking third, climbing in from that defensive half, and now having to be very measured with how he deals with this Tampa Bay Rowdies front line.
Yellow cards brought to you by Hickson Funson. Pasillas spins around, and it looks like that might be another card, or is it? Doesn't look like it. Thought maybe it would be, but Pasillas gets taken out.
That one's a bit tougher than the one on Jacob Green. That one slowed up what looked to be a very promising run from Pasillas.
About 10 minutes to go before halftime. Ajago's goal in the 31st minute stands as the difference right now. Tampa Bay, 6-match winless streak, looking to end that here today. The next home match for the Lexington SC women's team is Saturday, May 31st at 7 p.m. when they take on DC Power. Lexington SC will celebrate the women's finale with a pre-match concert presented by the Burl. And the first 1,000 fans receive an LSC bucket hat. Celebrate the beginning of summer with Lexington SC and visit lexsporting.com to purchase your tickets now. That's lexsporting.com. Final chance to see Lexington in the USL Super League, year number 1. Green hunts, lasso comes over, and he knocks that ball away, and it's out for a corner kick here for Lexington.
Fans, get on your feet. That's another Commonwealth Credit Union corner for Lexington Sporting Club.
Another corner for Terry Boss's group. He'd mentioned that this was a big stat of his, and then final third entries, which they are winning as well with 31 and 11 touches in the opposition box.
Medense will take this corner. Brought to you by Commonwealth Credit Union. Medense curls it in. Bandray punches with both paws. Sargent knocks it down. And Tampa Bay getting it out to midfield.
Got to imagine that if the Tampa Bay Rowdies were already playing with that cautious nature to them, it's got to be even more cautious here to finish the first half, because you don't want to go into the breakdown 2-0. At 1-0, you make some adjustments. Look at fine-tuning some of those details. You feel like you've created maybe not that clear-cut opportunity that you've been seeking, but you have built yourself into this game.
Firmino charges. Firmino lays it wide. Eddie Dokun beats one, skips past a second. Eddie Dokun finally does unleash it. Over the top this ball goes. It finds Sargent. Firmino. Sargent. Lexington probing. Firmino whips this ball across. Ajago is coming near. The ball went far, and Bandre catches. Another foul whistle. The aggression of Lexington draws another foul, but it led to their lone goal when Firmino stole a ball away in the midfield. Found Epps. Ajago finished it off.
And where we saw the Tampa Bay Rowdies grow into the game they were lacking the turnovers in their build. They were not giving Lexington any sort of possession higher up the field, whereas in the first 10-15 minutes we did see some of those casual turnovers. We saw some of those flat balls played across the midfield. We saw some of those passes that lacked a bit of pop and pace, and Lexington were able to jump all over them. Then we saw that spell where the Rowdies didn't include that in the build. They were able to build through the thirds. They were able to complete those high percentage passes, but yet still find themselves in the final third. Whereas that goal was a misplayed ball out of the back, that inability to secure transition, and then Lexington punishing them.
th minute of play. Lexington lead 1-0 in a battle of teams that sit at the bottom of their respective tables in the conferences. Ajago, his first goal for Lexington in the 31st minute on a pass from Epps after a giveaway is the difference. Michael Watring, Eric Dobransky, and team with you here tonight in Kentucky. Sargent. 5 more minutes to go before halftime. Tampa sitting at just 2 shot attempts in this game. And that is something that has not been the case this year. They're 5th in the league in terms of shots. They've had double digits in 8 of 9. The problem has been finishing. Just 8 goals this year, the 4th fewest in the league.
And when we spoke to Steve Coleman a couple weeks ago, talking about both boxes, I mean, he simply put it, teams are punishing us and we are not punishing them.
Well, that changed here. Here's this ball all the way across. I think Pacias would have probably had the best chance, but he had cut his run off as it rolls out for a goal kick. Blake Bodley giving that a chance. Get the latest Lexington SC news right at your fingertips by downloading the official mobile app powered by Fan 360. Get access to exclusive content while shopping for season tickets and LSC gear, all in the Lexington SC Fan app. Pacias lines that over the top. Arteaga couldn't slow it down. Lexington take over and go direct. Ajago, the only man over there. Lasso restarts. Lexington, 3 of its 4 shots have been on target in this match. None of the 2 so far from Tampa. And there could have been a second for Lexington. Lasso wouldn't have stood along the line and knocked one away from Eddie Dokun. Bassett breaks away from defenders. Fires it over for Fernandez. Fernandez goes all the way to the middle of the park. Not looking to shoot. Now elects to pass it off of the body of Medense. Back out wide. Bodley swings it high and over 2 different teammates. Eddie Dokun deep inside of the corner. Unable to successfully get that ball away, but it does roll to a teammate before Fernandez punches it out.
It's just too stagnant when you hit the final third for the Rowdies. The inability to be collaborative and fluid in what you're trying to do and the space you're trying to open up, because you could see Fernandez just dribbling and getting the touches in, and nobody had recreated space. Nobody had recycled a run. So much of how teams exploit opponents is not on that first phase. It's always that second and third phase. How do you regenerate the movement? How do you regenerate a scoring opportunity?
The promising break fizzles out. Lafferty's pass behind a teammate. And there's only one other match currently going on in the USL. That is Miami and Birmingham. That game just saw Miami get on the board. 39th minute. Miami out in front 1-0 against Birmingham.
Between Cal Jennings for the Charleston Battery and Bonfilio for Miami, they both just cannot stop scoring right now.
This ball rolls out wide. Right back. Bodily charges. Bodily crosses. Yet again, cannot beat that initial line of defense. Lexington think about breaking. Ajago the only man over there. Instead, Lasso gets there first. Be sure to visit lexsporting.com to get your latest Lexington SC merchandise and discounted ticket offers. That's lexsporting.com. Well, Eric, we talked about the frustration of Tampa Bay, but it's really been a good performance by Lexington. They've developed the bigger chances. They've had opportunities in the box, and their goal was a brilliant team effort with 3 different men touching it.
And I think for Lexington and Terry Boss, it's going to be about how do they create that second goal, because we see it so often in this league. This is a 2-goal league. You cannot just rest on that 1-0 advantage, and they've created the opportunities. They've been dangerous when they could be, and they've turned the Tampa Bay Rowdies over in dangerous areas, and they've been able to be progressive. Now for the Rowdies, can you find that commitment in the final third while also being careful of allowing Lexington to hurt you in transition? You need to flood the box. You need to create those opportunities and occupy some of those dangerous spaces in the final third.
We played 45 minutes here in Lexington, and it is the home side in front. Winless in the last 10. They have the advantage. Forster Ajago has Lexington ahead 1-0 at halftime. Halftime report comes your way next.
UK Healthcare Orthopedic Surgery and Sports Medicine offers comprehensive treatments for bone, joint, and muscle disorders and injuries of all types, from complex repairs to complete replacements. UKHealthcare.com, the power of advanced medicine.
Race to the top.
You're on.
It's time to power up your old checking account. That's why Commonwealth Credit Union created Power Checking. This incredible all-in-one account powers your spending, and with built-in high-yield savings, grows your balance at the same time. No minimums, no limits, just unparalleled benefits.
Raise it back down.
So kick it up a notch with Power Checking, only from Commonwealth Credit Union, the official credit union of Lexington SC.
Lexington is the Kentuckiest place in the world. Just look at it. It's by far the bluegrassiest, the bourbonist. See? The artsiest, and hands down, the horsiest. Oh, look, that one has a baby. I don't know why you would look anywhere else. Looking for the coolest, most Kentuckiest getaway? Look at Lexington.
Who is Lexington Sporting Club? We are the professional soccer team in the heart of the Bluegrass. From our Youth Academy to the Women's Super League to the Men's USL Championship team, we're building the future. From every corner of Lexington, we are united under one crest. This is your team. This is your community. Together, we are creating our story, leaving our mark. This isn't just any club. It's a club to call your own. Get your tickets today at lexsporting.com/tickets.
UK Healthcare Orthopedic Surgery and Sports Medicine offers comprehensive treatments for bone, joint, and muscle disorders and injuries of all types, from complex repairs to complete replacements. UKHealthcare.com, the power of advanced medicine.
It's a halftime lead for Lexington against Tampa Bay. 1-0 Forster Jagos. Well, the 31st minute is the difference right now. Michael Watring, Eric Dobransky, and team back with you here at halftime as we take a look at Lexington's upcoming schedule in the USL Championship. Remember that upcoming for this side, it'll be a trip to Charlotte Independence in the Jaeger Cup, but after that, at the road trips that they have in there, and things just not easy over these next 5.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for Lexington, but they have all the capabilities to pick up big points when they need to, and that's going to be something where they're going to want to turn the corner. They're going to want to evolve throughout the season. Out of 4 out of those 5 teams are above the playoff line right now, with the only one being below it is Colorado Springs Switchbacks, who are the defending champions, and you know that they want to get this thing turned around, and they're going to be looking for results of their own. So a task for Lexington and Terry Boss's side, but it's going to start with if they can finish up this result and pick up a big 3 points.
On the other side for Tampa Bay, it has been a bit uneven in how their schedule is broken out. A lot of road games, a lot of home games, and then you look over this next stretch, it balances each other out. But you do have tough sledding there. Lou City obviously having a great season. Miami, you mentioned, is playing well, and Pittsburgh has certainly found a rhythm as well, and it's never easy to win there in Highmark Stadium.
And I'll go back to what Forrest Lasso had said to the media this week, was starting to win those individual battles, starting to win those individual moments, and then that will bleed into the unit doing their job, whether it's defensively, on the offensive side, and then collective performances, because that's what they're going to have to start stacking for the Tampa Bay Rowdies, for them to put themselves in that conversation, because right now they just need to start applying pressure to those playoff teams, right?
Halftime here in Kentucky, and it is the home side. Lexington 1 and Tampa Bay 0 at the break. When we come back, we'll look around the rest of the USL Championship. 1-0 your score at half.
Who wants that smoke? You want that smoke? Look, I ain't playing, I'm saying this ain't a joke. There ain't no bluffing, I'm calling you out for show. It's either all in or nothing, I go for broke. Who wants that smoke?
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way.
Focus!
Fight back with Tiger Bomb's legendary herbal power.
Whatever it takes.
Trusted for over 100 years. Tiger Bomb's proven herbal blend tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger so that you can rise above pain.
Let's make a Karate Kid.
And get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
Today we went to the beach, and it was totally worth it. Stay 3 nights this summer at Best Western and get $50 off a future stay.
How does Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water keep you in the game? We always source our water directly from the natural spring to fuel every body, no matter how you like to move it. So whether you're chasing your goals or just staying active this summer, make sure to stay hydrated with Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water. Always bottled at the natural spring source.
News and notes from around the USL Championship. It is Pittsburgh Riverhounds advancing to the round of 16. They get the prize of the highest finishing second division team in the U.S. Open Cup, but their run ultimately comes to an end against the Philadelphia Union 23. How things are shaking out. We have 3 matches that are either being played or finished. Pittsburgh wins 1-0 at Rhode Island. Danny Griffith scores in the 37th minute. Detroit goes up on Charleston 2-0 on 1-0 on Jay Chapman's goal in the 2nd minute. Cal Jennings responds 3 minutes later, and just before halftime, and Juan David Torres finishes it off with a 52nd minute goal, and Miami gets that goal right before halftime from Bonfilio. And the 39th minute leads Birmingham at the break. And then your later on tonight's schedule, all on ESPN+. Orange County, Colorado Springs, Lou City at Monterey Bay, El Paso, Las Vegas, and Oakland and New Mexico. There's a lot of really good matches in that mix.
There is, and you just mentioned the last one, Oakland, New Mexico. I mean, Oakland is looking to kind of sustain themselves, coming off a difficult loss to North Carolina FC, and playing in New Mexico United side, who find themselves towards the top of the Western Conference. And then Lou City making the trip to Monterey Bay, who are both looking to rebound. Obviously, Lou City still unbeaten with that 5 wins to 4 draws, but Monterey Bay coming off that 2-0 loss to Phoenix. They're going to want to rebound from that result.
We have 2 teams that are looking to rebound from their rough run of form in the last couple months. Lexington, though, has the better half through 45. 1-0 the advantage. We'll look at the halftime highlights as well as the second half kickoff when we come back. Lexington has the edge through 45 minutes. 1-0 is your score at the break. And before we start the second half here in Kentucky, Eric Dobransky and I will take a look at the first half highlights from this matchup. And it's really been all Lexington. And one of their best chances in the first 10 minutes after they held a lot of possession came when Michael Adidokun was able to break along the back line. And how about this play by Forrest Lasso?
And I think what they've got to enjoy from this first 45 is the variety in which they ask the questions of the Tampa Bay Rowdies. This ball over the top, this ability to have limited numbers but still make a high volume impact in terms of the quality scoring chance, the 1v1, the patience, and then Forrest Lasso just staying with the play. And at 0-0, you thought that was something that could catapult the momentum in favor of the Tampa Bay Rowdies, and you saw a shift of momentum. You saw them kind of grow into possession, create some half chances, but it was still more of Lexington and Firmino involving himself in the attacking third. That second wave right there, just putting his laces through it, just driving it over the crossbar. And then for the early portion of the match, Tampa Bay Rowdies had limited some of the poor turnovers that they were giving Lexington early, but then one right there, and Medense clips this ball over the top. Epps just lays it down for Ajogo and tucks it away, and that's a 1-0 advantage going into the break.
Kind of what you expected between these two teams. You have 6 total shots in this game, 3 from Lexington. Granted, Tampa Bay has had a high volume of shot attempts throughout this season. They just haven't been as successful at scoring goals. If you're the Rowdies, what's the message have to be coming out of the second half?
Go ahead and be aggressive. Go ahead, and if you see the run and if you see the space open up, take it. Be progressive in what you're doing and how you're doing it, because for the Tampa Bay Rowdies, you mentioned the shots. I mean, and that just showcases some of that limited commitment we saw through the first 45. It was very isolated. It was not very fluid. It wasn't collective. And you could see them kind of sit back and want to absorb a bit of Lexington's transition, because you see the possession numbers for Lexington and Tampa Bay Rowdies. Lexington has been good without the ball. So their ability to sit in, regain possession, and go forward and be positive with that first pass has been dangerous and has been something that the Tampa Bay Rowdies are clearly aware of. And for Lexington, it's now about, can you reward yourself for a second goal?
Tampa Bay putting this run in perspective, where they are 6-match winless in league play. It's the first time that has happened since July and August of 2018. Did not make the playoffs last year. That's the last time that this organization failed to make the postseason. They haven't gone 7 consecutive winless since the final 7 of the 2016 NASL fall season. So that is where Tampa Bay sit right now, and they need a second half comeback against the Lexington side that has given up leads 2 of the 3 times where they've scored the opening goal in a match this year. 2 teams that are desperate for points. 2 teams that are trying to use this match as a catalyst for the second half of the year. Needing points out of this one tonight.
And Lexington, they know they're going to get the Tampa Bay Rowdies' best shot here in the next 45 minutes. They know that they are going to get a team that is playing with desperation, with urgency. And they've got to be able to manage it. They've got to be able to not only regain the tempo, and I say tempo, I think people's minds jump to possession numbers and those kind of statistics. It is the ability to manage and maintain territory, and for Lexington, they did just that in the first 45. They're going to want to replicate and enhance that going into the second.
So second half action just about ready to get underway here between Tampa Bay Rowdies and Lexington Sporting Club. First ever meeting between these 2 organizations. Lexington in the all-black. It's the white, yellow, and greens for Tampa Bay Rowdies. 2 teams with extended droughts that date back to mid-March. Second half starts with Lexington in possession, looking to add to a 1-0 advantage thanks to Forster Ajago's opening goal for Lexington in the 31st minute. Michael Watring, Eric Dobransky, and the rest of our team with you, guiding you through the rest of this evening's contest in the USL Championship here in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Ajago is the target of this ball. He circles and gets barreled by Lasso, and it goes out for a goal kick.
And I think another big element for Terry Boss and his side is their first ball pressure. Right now, they are doing a terrific job of guiding and guarding spaces from the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Their ability to put that first ball pressure and dictate the next play has allowed the next layer to be prepared to deal with it. We mentioned in the first 45 defensively dealing with Pasillas and how intelligent some of the plays were and the areas they cut off. But that also is a complement to that pressure that is put on the ball. And that's where the Rowdies have kind of flipped the script. That they've lacked that first ball pressure, that ability to make that next play predictable. And that's where you've seen some of these big breaks for Lexington.
2 teams that are tied for allowing the 3rd most goals in the league this season. Lexington's given up 10 after the halftime whistle of the 17 that they've allowed so far this season. Just 1 goal allowed in the opening 20. A lot happens in the middle of the game and towards the end against Lexington's back line. They try to shift that momentum here in this game. Pasillas was looking at it, and ultimately it rolls back. Terry Boss did say that he is much more of a process over result type of coach, understanding that they brought in 20 new players into this team. It was the transition from League One to the championship. You have a lot of different looks. You're playing against different teams. You have a different schedule makeup as well. His biggest goal, and it is cliche, he admitted it, but at the same time, it makes a lot of sense. You're trying to get a little bit better every single game. You're trying to find that consistency in terms of those performances on a week-to-week basis, because if they do, the results will eventually follow.
And the difficulty becomes is meshing those worlds together, where you are process-oriented over results, but also you play in a league that is results-driven. You have to go out and collect points. And when you have a fan base like the one here in Lexington, when you have the organization that is built the way it is here in Lexington, the ambitions that the side showcased when they had the signings, when they brought in the players they brought in, you do have to mesh those 2 worlds. You do have to bring them together and understand, and that's what Terry Boss has done a terrific job of right now, is melding those two and making sure that his team is fully aware that they are growing, that they are developing, that they are starting to find their form, and not to let the outside noise or those results affect that and not influence the way that they're playing. And right now, they have been spot on with their performance. Now they need to put together another 45 just like that.
Aaron Guillen throws it in. Tampa Bay in that opening 45 had just 3 touches in the attacking penalty area. Casillas with 4 goals this year has really been the one-man wrecking crew, looking for some assistance from his teammates. Direct pass this time for Ajago. Lasso knocks it back where it came from. It's taken over in the middle of the field. Arteaga. Casillas. Casillas pounces and gets taken off the ball. It's fine defensive work that time around by Kendall Burks, the 25-year-old defender from Washington. A good turn, despite the tug of the jersey by Medense. Firmino. Down that left side, Michael Adidokun. Pokes it through, Epps twirls, Epps crosses and gets his team a Commonwealth Credit Union corner here in the opening 5 minutes.
How fast Lexington can go from one box to the other. The capability of breaking lines and doing it with the intent and the purpose. Pushing the Rowdies back, making them retreat very quickly. And that's when you get that collective engagement going forward. You get that hopeful nature, that lively nature that you want from your attacking presence.
Jeffall goes for Medense. Back for Jeffall, and just enough of a blockade there from Bassett to ensure that nothing happens off of that corner kick. West 6 Brewing is a proud partner of the Lexington Sporting Club with dynamic tap room locations all throughout the state of Kentucky. You can enjoy West 6 locally crafted beers for all your adventures. Enjoy a Stadium Ale, the official craft beer of Lexington SC, at all home games or at your favorite retailers around Lexington. Sostamo takes this ball along the sideline and gets the team a throw. And one thing that we can pencil in after this match is that Tampa Bay will continue to be one of the teams without a clean sheet in the league this year. Entered the match as one of the 5 without a clean sheet, and they've now given up goals in 12 consecutive, including postseason matches last year since the finale against Indy 11 on October 26th.
And you add Birmingham to that list as well, that they conceded to Miami FC.
Good pass over the top here. Fernandez. Casillas slightly offside. It wasn't by much, but it was just enough of a step from Burks at the last second to ensure that the flag would go up. Hafferty gets Ketterer involved, who has not had to do a whole lot tonight. That ball's well played into a pocket. Adidokun catches onto it. Numbers in the box. Adidokun Tries to go through the middle, and instead Ajago was just salivating about 8 yards away. It never found him.
This is the second time that Adidokun has found himself with acres of space with the ball played in behind. The first one in the first half was a bit more central. This one putting him in that half space, wanting that ball across the face of the 6-yard box. But Forrest Lasso again, big intervention. I would dare to say that almost both of those are goal saving. Obviously the one in the first half definitely.
Jeffal arcs this ball well into the sky. Van Kazeel, the only man that touches it. Throw in for Lexington along this sideline. Kendall Burks to take the throw. Lexington 1, Tampa Bay 0. Burks launches this ball. Ajago is the closest man to it. Medense hits Green in the back. Firmino stops. Firmino fires. Has that ball blocked. Adidokun blasted into the bleachers.
Big plays on both sides of the ball. Defensively, the commitment to get bodies in front of this ball for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. And for Lexington, the tenacious pressure that they're putting on every ball in the attacking third. That is that aggressiveness that Terry Boss wants from his team.
Bassett spins this ball. It's Bodley. Bodley arcs it around. Fernandez and Artiaga were over there. Artiaga couldn't latch on. Crisostomo. 10 minutes into the second half. Tampa Bay have not attempted a shot so far. Lasso. Ian. Taps right back. Bodley. Stymied by the defense. Ajago. Firmino. Splits defenders with a well-weighted ball for Adidokun. Adidokun charges at the back line. And too much on that for Bandre. And yet again, a lot of numbers in the box. He decides to go to the touchline.
And this Rowdies back line is absorbing some loud moments from Lexington. And Adidokun, ability to sit on that back line. Starts with some crafty play through the middle third for Lexington. 1-2 touch link up play that gets them out of pressure.
Birmingham have leveled it against Miami. Tyler Pasher in the 48th minute has it 1-1 between Miami and Birmingham. Here's another giveaway. Adidokun, what decision does he make this time? Funnels it through, was looking for Ajago. Lasso the only man there. Adidokun gets back to the second ball and forces a punch out for a fourth corner of the match. Commonwealth Credit Union corner for Lexington FC coming up here. They have been on the front foot for much of the game. They have 7 of the 9 shots so far on the day. And they line up another corner kick opportunity for Sofiane Jeffal, a 25-year-old, grew up in France, played collegiately for Oregon State. Jeffal boomerangs well into the night sky. Ajago has this ball played out. Back in, one header, over to get it. Adidokun muscles it over everything.
Oh, and he is getting an earful from his teammates. That felt like the upgrade to that opportunity was just playing this ball across. He had 2 players in Ajago and Jacob Green in dangerous spaces.
Well, Lexington's attack simmers. Tampa Bay trying to make that a fizzle. Here's Bodley staying on side. But his pass lets his teammates down for a moment. Fernandez keeps it in play. Van Kazeel whistles it over everything. And right now, I think you can get a little bit of the sense that these are two teams that are desperate to score goals. And when you have teams that are comfortable playing it around, a lot of individual moments right now rather than picking out that fine pass.
100%. You're seeing a lot of isolated play instead of that collective link-up play in the final third. You've seen, obviously, Lexington put together some terrific spells of connectivity through the back third to the middle third that opens up the attack, but it becomes very 1v1. And to the credit to both these teams, that they have tremendous defensive presences. I mean, for the Tampa Bay Rowdies, I mean, Lexington has just got to be scratching their head and trying to figure out how they beat Guillen and Forrest Lasso. I mean, Forrest Lasso has been utterly almost unbeatable in the air, and typically is. His aerial duels is something that makes him stand out, his playmaking ability from the back, but just defensively, that physical presence, that dominating defender that he is. And then for Lexington, said it in the first half, and it's just continued here in the second. Some high quality decisions coming from this back line for Lexington, the 1v1 duels, and then collectively when they absorb, when they drop, when they step.
With 30 minutes to play, Lexington lead 1-0. Forster Ajago's first goal in a Lexington kit in the 31st minute. The difference right now, with 30 more minutes to go, will Lexington get its first win since the season opener 78 days ago. Firmino commits this foul, and it's a free kick for Tampa.
And this is where Lexington is going to want to see themselves grow and evolve. Is obviously you see the foul on Firmino there, and you can see the free kick, and not allowing some frustrations of not being able to put away a second goal to bleed into what they're doing defensively, because they are doing great work, giving up set pieces, giving up opportunities to a team that is not necessarily carrying the momentum or carrying the rhythm.
Back spinning ball in it, knocks to the ground. There's space there, off of the redirect. It goes out wide. And it concedes a corner kick, and that ball fell cleanly into the middle for Van Kazeel, but just couldn't work it around the traffic.
And this being an example, when you're giving free kicks away to teams that are desperate to score a goal, you're gonna throw the bodies, you're gonna throw the numbers. You're going to get a player like Forrest Lasso in that space, and then you concede a corner and have to deal with it now.
Fernandez curls this ball in. Arteaga is there. Manuel Arteaga scorches the strings. Tampa Bay are level, and it's his first goal of the season.
And you could see how much it means to Arteaga. And very clever from the Tampa Bay Rowdies. This left-footed delivery from Leo Fernandez. When you play short, the hope is that you thin out the box, because when you play short, you stretch the opponent, you make them have to step to that ball. And then you have the player of the caliber of Manuel Arteaga working to that far post, just lurking and sniffing out that area to score a goal. What a response from the Tampa Bay Rowdies coming out of the break. And this is similar to what we saw in the first half. They managed the first 10 to 15 minutes. They started to grow into the game. They started to find their footing in that first 45. They've now brought that into the second half, but now have rewarded themselves with 2 consecutive free kicks where the corner pays dividends, and a big goal for Arteaga.
Arteaga scored in the Jaeger Cup on April 26th, but had not scored during the regular season. It's his 48th in the USL. It's his first this season after career high 18 a year ago for the Rowdies. And if he gets hot, Tampa Bay could get smoking down the stretch. And now how does Lexington respond? They play with the lead for 31 minutes. A team that had led for 143 total minutes in 4 different occasions. They've lost 2 of the 3 times in which they've had a lead. Can they hold on to this one here at home? 2 teams eyeing points here in the middle of May. Free kick for Lexington. Jeffall leaves it. Medense curls it in. That ball hits the right post. Adidokun blasts. It gets blocked. Inches away from making it a second and a lead again for Lexington.
Terrific delivery in here. All the chaos, all the traffic in and around for Lexington. And Adidokun patient with his on-the-ball movement, the ability to get Forrest Lasso going across, but just unable to beat that second defender for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. And we've seen it throughout the night right now. It's the commitment to get behind the ball.
That's a goal kick. Appeals for a foul. The fans starting to make their presence felt here.
Because if you're Lexington, you sit at 1-1, but you look at the chance from Adidokun that was cleared off the line by Forrest Lasso in the first half. And then you look at the chance here in the second half, and although it didn't equal a chance on frame, but Adidokun on the ball in that half space with 2 runners centrally, electing to take it himself and putting it over the crossbar. I mean, you've got to imagine that those are 2 chances that Lexington are going to look back on, and now's not the time, but after this match, and probably look at those moments as chances where they could have made it 2-0, 3-0, and put this game to bed.
This ball played through. Adidokun throws it across and doesn't get enough on it to get it over to Ajago. Adidokun knocks it away. Medense was lurking. Van Kaziel sweeps it out to midfield, and what a final 25 minutes this could be. 2 sides hungry for points. Adidokun, what choice does he make? Epps spins, loses possession, however.
And as difficult as Adidokun has been to contain in some of those build-up moments, containing that space in behind, he has left that final action, that final decision short. Even that last play, we want to jump all over that a bit sooner. He had the space, and that space quickly diminished as you waited to play that ball across. And we mentioned it earlier, that process approach for Lexington. These are the moments and these are the matches that you have to start putting those together, because you could be all about the process, and they are, and they have been terrific in a lot of different phases throughout this match. But you brought up the stat with when they go up a goal, when they score the first goal, you've got to start showing that you're learning from those opportunities, and now implementing the composure it takes to get another goal back.
Sargent tosses it in. Goes right back out where it came from and swept away. In the last 8 games, including the US Open Cup, Lexington have scored just 2 goals. They've been shut out 6 times, have not scored multiple goals since they fell 3-2 against San Antonio back on March 29th. And that was a game where they led 2-0 and would give up 3 straight, including 2 in 4 minutes. And Jake LaCava won it in the 82nd minute.
Well, and that goes to the bigger scope of things, where Terry Boss had mentioned that not letting the talks of results and where they are in the standings affect the performance. That's also where navigating and managing the ebbs and flows of matches not affect the performance. Stick to what you're doing. Obviously continue to probe and continue to press, but don't force this issue. Don't make this scoreline then force you into making plays that aren't there.
Lexington make a change. It's Corey Burke, the 33-year-old Jamaican forward who scored twice this year, replacing Jacob Green, who's been playing on a yellow.
You bring in that veteran presence up top. Give Tampa Bay Rowdies a different look. Make them have to deal with a different type of attacking player, a different forward, somebody that knows how to find the areas that goals are scored.
Saw the two changes that Tampa were getting ready. It's going to be Nick Moon and Joey Skinner that are coming on. Bodley and Pasillas are the two coming out. Pasillas just hasn't had the same impact as he did in the first half. Things have heated up here in half number 2. Tampa Bay have tied it up after Ajago scored in the 31st minute. Arteaga scored in the 62nd. And with 20 minutes to go, will one of these two sides pick up their first win since March? Michael Watring, Eric Dobransky, and the rest of our team. It's great to have you with us tonight. Into the sky, Pasillas does get a piece of that. Comes back after it. Down the park. This ball rolls. Lasso keeps it in, so no change as of yet. Fans, visit lexsporting.com to shop at the Lexington SC Team Store, your one-stop destination for all of the latest LSC gear and official merchandise. That's lexsporting.com. There's that pressure that has worked out so well. It's Epps that takes over. Epps between defenders. Surges past Guillen. Gets to the touchline. Gets enough to cross it in. It trickles low. Ajago nearly pounced on top of it. Bassett swings it forward. Pasillas makes the turn. Does he have the wheels in the angle? Pasillas does hold on to it. Burks gets the piece. It's a foul. It's a card. And who's it on? Haven't decided yet, and it will be on Burks. So it's a free kick for Tampa, and Kendall Burks gets shown the yellow card. And just as Pasillas is going to be subbed off, he makes his final impact. So it will be Moon and Skinner, as mentioned, coming in. Bodley and Pasillas are coming out. First changes of the night used by Steve Coleman. Moon this year with an assist. Skinner a defender, adding reinforcements to that back line. Things are interesting here. 1-1. Less than 20 minutes to play. Lexington's last win came March 19th in the U.S. Open Cup, 5-0, now 67 days ago. Their lone USL Championship win was 78 days ago, 2-0 against Hartford on this pitch, March 8th. 6-match winless string for Tampa Bay since a 2-1 win at Miami, March 22nd. Off the restart, Bassett. Fernandez, who has the assists, runs this ball into a defender, and it rolls out.
And the official attendance for tonight's Lexington Sporting Club match is 4,533. Thank you for your incredible support, and let's go.
Right-hand side. Looking for space, not finding it. Hicks and Funson bring our yellow cards tonight. Kendall Burks in the books. The only man still on the field with the yellow card.
You got to feel that a draw would be different for each of these teams. At Tampa Bay going on the road with some of the results that they've seen and had over the last couple games. I mean, conceding at a high clip. We talked about the goals against for both these teams being at 17, now both at 18. But Lexington more on the scope of some of those louder score lines, whereas in Tampa Bay Rowdies have kind of consistently conceded, with Lexington having 3 clean sheets. But 1 point and a 1-1 draw would probably pull different with each of these coaches. Lexington would feel like they had more to give and more left there, and the Rowdies have got to feel like they grew into this match. They asked different questions.
Ajago is there. Lasso hits his backside. Missed most of last year, a year removed from a torn ACL, and he's been a one-man defensive wrecking crew back there. Remember, he saved Eddie Doku's ball in the 9th minute off the line. Here's a corner kick. It's the 6th of the night for Lexington, brought to you by Commonwealth Credit Union. Medense prepares this ball. Alfredo Medense curls it around. Lasso is there. Second ball. Adeoku was waiting for it. Rips it right into the body of one. Leo Fernandez was lurking, but Hafferty steps in front. Arteaga gets the block and the ball. Fernandez is in the middle of the field. Will not see the ball, however, as Tampa was looking to break. Half of the Rowdies' goals entering the night have come in the final quarter hour of matches this season. Do they have another one here to stun a Lexington side that led after halftime? And a 31st minute goal from Ajago before Arteaga tied it up in the 62nd minute.
And although they weren't winning the possession battle, that you felt like they were playing and controlling momentum. Lexington was. They were managing territory. They were winning some of the spaces. We see the shots 9-6, and for the Tampa Bay Rowdies, expected goals now in their favor. So they're obviously creating not only chances, but they're creating quality chances right now. And this is going to be an intriguing last 15 minutes for both these teams. Can they create one big opportunity?
Epps whistles this ball across. Ajago gets space. Ajago punches at it. And he's going to be the man called for the foul. And Ajago making the argument that his frame had won the position against Kian.
Good shape on this delivery from Epps. There's no attacking players in that area. You saw Corey Burke. Ajago, that slight tug there at the end allows the Rowdies to get out unscathed. And how these two coaches and how these two teams view sharing a point is going to be how we see these two teams approach the time that we have remaining. For the Tampa Bay Rowdies, do they just do they pump the brakes? They slow this game down. Every moment that you have to control the tempo, you control it. Every restart is set when you're set, and you're not forcing anything quick. And then for Lexington, do you ramp up the urgency? Do you start going fast on throws, restarts? Do you start to play a bit more with risk going forward and playing some of those through balls in those tight spaces to see if you can go create a goal?
That's what Tampa tries to do right here. A dodging, darting run by Nick Moon, but he loses the ball in his feet. Fortunate for him, it's a throw for the Rowdies, the team that entered 5th in the league in shot attempts. They sit on 6 with less than a quarter hour to play in this match. Lexington have done a better job defensively. Rowdies have played better in the second half. They've held the possession. They've had chances inside of the 18. Doubled their number from the first half when they only had 3 touches inside of the penalty box. This ball bounces. Epps knocks it back. Ketterer, former 4th-round pick of the Columbus Crew at 31 years of age, ships this looking for Burke. Burke goes right into the chest of Lasso. We wondered coming into the night, would either of these two sides walk away a winner? Going through frustrating points in their season. Tampa, their longest winless spell since 2018. Skinner, Bassett dodges one, gets shuffled up, and then hits that ball off of his feet. Sheffel does his job. Goal kick for Lexington.
Yeah, 1 point for the Tampa Bay Rowdies does not reshape or shake up the Eastern Conference in any means, but you're only worried about your team. You're only worried about your group, and does a point on the road or a performance like this catapult you into the momentum that you're looking for in both boxes? Obviously, your goal was created off a corner, which is a phase that coaches always want to be effective in. And then, but you can continue to grow the identity, and because we continue to see some of those isolated moments in the attack. It's not collective. It's not with the kind of rhythm that you're typical of seeing. But do you use that to continue to grow into the season? And for Lexington, you scored first. You were dominating in a lot of different phases of this match, and then you see yourself level, and that's got to be frustrating.
They have the numbers forward now. Epps has the assist tonight with 3 of them on the year now. Epps picks out space. Firmino uncorks. Bandray hovers and fends it off.
An excellent interplay from Lexington here. As I'm asking questions of the frustration from Lexington, they are answering the question with some dynamic movement, some dynamic play, earn themselves a corner. Can they reward themselves?
Fredo Medense slingshots this ball all the way into the 18. Lasso again, another aerial duel one. Bassett comes out of the pack. Bassett reshapes the field. Can't get the pass right for Moon, however. Adi Dokut. Ajago wanted it. Burke wanted it. Neither get it. Firmino. Adi Dokut. Got just enough to keep the ball in play. Adi Dokut arcs this ball around. Lasso is there again. Firmino takes another opportunity that goes wide left. Lexington SC fans, be sure to join us on Saturday, June 14th at 7 p.m. at LSC Stadium to support our men's team as they take on New Mexico United. We're celebrating Father's Day and National Bourbon Day, and so bring your father and don't miss out on the fun. Purchase your tickets today at lexsporting.com. Less than 10 minutes to play. Tied at 1. Lexington's winless run is 9 in a row in the league, 6 in a row for Tampa Bay. Ajago scored in the 31st minute to put Lexington out in front 1-0. Tampa Bay equalized on Arteaga's header in the 62nd. Here he is, whipping it across the park. Finds Moon. Moon trickles it forward. Bassett inside of the box. Bassett takes a tumble. Enough defending that time from Kieran Sargent. Tampa Bay has gone scoreless in the first half 7 times this year. They've lost each of the first 6. Will tonight be a change? Will it be a point or 3 points if they do?
And there's a sense that the Tampa Bay Rowdies can steal all 3 points here. You're seeing a bit more pop when they regain possession. When they dispossess Lexington, they are immediately looking to go forward. So now that aggressive mindset has shifted to the Tampa Bay Rowdies, and other than a missed pass here or there, they've put themselves in a position where transition can hurt Lexington.
Which team finishes this match strong? Medense. Medense lines this pass up. Inside of the box, Bandre, no issues. The 6'2" keeper now leaps everybody. Crisostomo. Bassett thought about unlocking Moon, instead lays it back. Ian and Lasso. Fernandez dodges one, but can't hold on to the ball, and it rolls back. Medense against Crisostomo. Slaloms past him, asks for a foul, doesn't hear a whistle.
I mean, that's going to be asking a lot from the center official, especially in a match that is going up and back right now.
Van Kazeel has it. Spins it over to Bassett. He winds up Moon. Moon and Bassett. Fernandez. Bassett. Right back. Moon keeps his run up. Moon tosses it over through the middle, but the flag does go up for offside.
You almost thought that the patience was spot on with that ball played in behind, but just a step too early. But you have to like the attitude that the Tampa Bay Rowdies are playing with right now.
Tampa Bay using another change. Andre Mastali, the 17-year-old, grew up in Italy, but a good physical prospect at 6 feet 4 inches tall. Has 2 assists this year. Replaces Leo Fernandez.
And he'll be that attacker that can provide that dual threat. Can be dangerous in his creative runs in the play on the ball, but also that aerial presence in the box if they can get some of these early or deep services.
Well, Birmingham have come from 1-0 down to take the lead at Miami. Ronaldo Damas in the 74th minute, lead 2-1. Birmingham was one of the 5 teams in the league with just 1 win entering the night. Does Tampa Bay come from a goal down to come back and win this? Or can Lexington get a second? It's getting late here in Kentucky with a score tied at 1 apiece between Lexington and Tampa Bay. Jeffall puts it down. Hafferty. Epps right back for Hafferty. Medense. Firmino. Sargent. Eddie Dokun. Firmino. Unable to get that pass over, but it does ricochet for him to get it back to Sargent. Sargent bounces around one. Cuts past the second. And just enough of a piece to send that one out for a 8th corner of the night for Lexington.
You wonder if they go short here and move Forrest Lasso a bit, or they elect to go direct and just commit themselves to some of those pick plays, some of those routes that maybe deflect a defender and reroute them. Because right now you've put it right in the mix, and I'm not sure I've seen a ball that has gone in there and not been won by Forrest Lasso.
Well, Elliot Goldthorpe replaces Medense in the lineup, and he promptly heads over to the corner flag. 2 assists this season for the 23-year-old. Played collegiately at Hofstra. Goldthorpe's first contact is a boomeranging ball in. Epps gets a piece. Firmino to the second. Firmino punches it down, knocks it off of a defender. Eddie Dokun hits the deck, asks for a foul, doesn't get it. Tampa Bay break. Mustali, Arteaga, right back for the 17-year-old, galloping into space. Mustali, Bassett off the outside of the boot. Moon! He had the winner in his sights and tugs it wide.
Oh, you had everything in this play for the Tampa Bay Rowdies, but the finish. What a clever play in behind. What a good run from Moon. Just lacked the poise and composure there to tuck that one away.
Can Lexington rebuttal? Goldthorpe gets to it. Works around. Goldthorpe funnels this ball. Lasso again there. The steadiest man on the field all night. Hafferty winds up. Epps.
Ladies and gentlemen,
2 minutes of stoppage time to try to decide a winner. Or will these winless runs continue here tonight between Tampa and Lexington? This is a great ball. Eddie Dokun. Watch his band rate, get a good read on it. Gliding out, sliding to pick it up. Lexington in league play, 9 in a row, 6 for Tampa. If Tampa cannot get a winner, it would be their longest drought since 2016 when they were in the NASL. I feel like there might be one more good chance to do a full build-up if you're Lexington. Tampa Bay reeling a little bit defensively now, trying to cover all the ground. Eddie Dokun charges. Good defending on the first time. Eddie Dokun loops this ball around. There's nobody over there, and it goes out harmlessly in the end. Skinner thought about getting head to it, and fortunately for them, he didn't.
This is going to be that continued balance for both these teams, that if this result stands at 1-1, how do you mix in the positive takeaways? Because I would dare to say there is big positives for both these teams. I mean, the Tampa Bay Rowdies found a way to get an equalizer. They continued to ask questions. They continued to commit themselves to one another and winning their duels and winning their matchups and trying to find themselves into the game.
Burke gets to the ball before it hits the touchline. Burke unable to hold it off. Uses his body. The ball stays in play. Tampa have scored twice in second half stoppage time this year. If it's to be a third, it would have to have happened right there. Instead, it's a giveaway. Will there be enough time for one last chance for Lexington? Eddie Dokun does just enough to keep it in. Eddie Dokun crosses this ball in. Lasso is there with the clearance. There's your full-time whistle, and the winless runs extend. 10 in a row for Lexington, 7 straight for Tampa, and a shared point on a goal apiece tonight in Kentucky.
And I know this is going to sound contradictory, but for Lexington, you can see the sustainability display itself tonight. You could see what they can bring game in, game out. And why I say it's contradictory is because you weren't able to put in the complete performance, and you couldn't sustain it through 90 minutes. You couldn't sustain taking that 1-0 advantage and then going to find the second goal and putting a game away. But you have to like some of the good moments that you've created, some of the moments in the final third collectively. but you were playing a Tampa Bay Rowdies side that had so much desire to go on the road, to earn a point, and to prove to themselves that they were capable of locking it down defensively, but also to find that breakthrough that they needed to equalize.
A point apiece tonight in Kentucky. Lexington won. Tampa Bay won. We tie the bow on a late thriller in this one from Kentucky when we come back. Clubs that were point-starved tonight get a point apiece. Lexington and Tampa Bay riding extended winless strings that run through the middle of March share a point tonight. Michael Watring, Eric Dobransky, and our team tying a bow on our coverage here this evening as we run back the full-time highlights. There are some great chances in this game. Both sides had opportunities, and in the 9th minute, it was Adi Dokun who put his stamp on this game. But Forrest Lasso was the best man on the pitch tonight.
Yeah, and Adi Dokun, to your point, had made himself a handful throughout this game, stretching the back line, winning his 1v1s, putting them in difficult scenarios. But Forrest Lasso just made play after play for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Obviously, a lot of credit to Castellanos and Guillen for making big plays of their own and committing to getting behind the ball. But Forrest Lasso winning aerial duels, clearing that ball off the line, and then Densei making his presence known with the start tonight. This crafty, clever ball over the top. Marcus Epps lays it down. Rojoko. And then Tampa Bay Rowdies found their way into the match. They did not necessarily break Lexington down in possession and in the run of play, but used free kicks, set pieces, restarts to build momentum. And it was this delivery by Fernandez into, we talk about teams starving for points, a player in Arteaga who was starving to score his first goal of the regular season for the Tampa Bay Rowdies, and did just that, equalizer. And then Firmino with another strike. He had a big one in the first half, that one asking a save of Bandre. But overall, collective performance by both teams.
1 goal apiece, 1 point apiece. Lexington's run extends to 10 straight winless matches. 7 straight winless for Tampa Bay, their first time since 2016. 1 point apiece, 1 goal apiece. For my partner, Eric Dobransky, I'm Michael Watring signing off. Thanks so much for watching. Good night, everybody.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.